All right. Oh, squat. To squat sometimes hurt your knees? Well, you are in luck because in this video, I'm gonna be showing a whole bunch of exercises and warm-up routines that I've used both myself and with all of my clients over the years to help you be able to train with them knees pain bloody freeze. Now let's get into it. Ooh, now listen, I'm just a dude who knows a lot about butts and I'm not a physiotherapist. I'm not your physiotherapist. And I don't even know who you are. I don't know why your knees might be feeling a little bit sore or in pain. So, if you do have some serious knee pain, then some of the tips and tricks in this video might help you, but some of them might not be suitable for you. So, if it's something serious, then go and get some serious professional advice rather than just watching YouTube videos to fix your problem. But I do know a bit about the body, and I do know a lot about butts. And I've helped hundreds and hundreds of ladies over the years, whether they have knee pain or not, to be able to get incredible results with the exercises that I'm gonna be showing you in this video. And another cool thing is that a lot of the time when you're trying to do exercises that avoid knee pain, you're actually gonna be working those glutes a little bit harder with some of these variations as well. And I'm not just making this video from things that I've actually done with other people, but actually from my own experience. I've suffered some pretty bad patellar tendonitis and had some ongoing knee pain throughout my lifting career. So I'm gonna be sharing with you all of the tools and protocols that I've used with all the exercises and warm-up routines in this video to show you how I could train pain-free with my knee and still get fucking jacked. Now, before we get into all of the bigger compound exercises that you can do, I wanted to show you my 3 exercise warm-up routine, which I would use as a warm-up before my big lifts and also just as some knee rehab. But before I show you those, I'm gonna need you to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell so you keep on getting these goddamn tasted videos. The first exercise that I would do is something that you might think would actually hurt the knees, but if you do them like this, it's definitely going to help them and help to promote blood flow, and it is a leg extension isometric hold. Now, what this does is it's gonna be helping to strengthen all of the tendons and ligaments around the knee because we are gonna be holding that tension up in this shortened position on this end range extension. Now, typically I would hold for anywhere between 30 to 60 seconds, and I would do usually about 3 sets before I got into my workout. Eventually, I will progress towards doing a single leg, and holding and doing exactly the same thing. Next up, I would do some wall squats. Literally coming up against the wall and then coming down to 90 degrees and just holding that with that isometric tension. Now, with the leg extensions, they were great because we were getting that tension in end range extension. Now, we're getting an isometric contraction where we're at around about a 90-degree hip bend. And again, those isometric contractions are great because they're not gonna be overly stressing the knees, but rather helping to strengthen those tendons and ligaments. Now, these exercises aren't the best for building muscle, but they are fantastic for rehabbing and warming up those knees before a big session. Also, I will perform a couple of laps of sled drags, holding onto a sled, and here, really, what we're doing is actually very close to those leg extensions. And again, we're working towards that end range to really start to warm those knees up and get that nice tasty burn in the quads. Now, the first 2 exercises were isometric, but this is gonna get that nice dynamic little bit of movement, and these are epic, and I still, to this day, do these before a big session to keep my knees feeling all G's. Nice. Oh yeah, now we got those knees feeling all wound up, spicy, and ready to roll. Let's get into more of the video, showing you some of these bigger variations which you can actually use in your training. Now, you're gonna probably notice a concurrent theme with almost all of these lifts. And you're gonna notice that the exercises that we're probably gonna be trying to avoid if you do have knee pain and you're trying to avoid making it any worse, are exercises like these, where our knees are gonna be traveling forward, we're gonna be getting down really deep into our reps, and our hamstrings are gonna be covered over our calves. Now, just so you know, this is not a bad thing at all. It's a fantastic way to be able to really work your quads and to be able to really get that deep range of motion. But the only reason why I say you might want to avoid these is if you do have knee pain, it can put a little bit of additional stretch on that joint, getting down deep into knee flexion. Now, exercises which might be better suited towards you are exercises where you're going to be keeping that shin a little bit more vertical, and instead of driving the knee forward, we're focusing on making it hip dominant by shooting our hips back like this and keeping our shins a little more upright. Now, again, as I mentioned earlier in this video, these exercises are also great because I'm the Glute Guru, and these exercises bias the hip structure, which mean they're actually gonna be emphasizing the glutes a little bit more as well. So, while you're training around a knee injury and trying to limit going down really deep into your reps, you might actually get even better booty gains along the way. Now, it's time for me to stop rambling. And start actually showing you some goddamn exercises. And we're starting with box squats. Boom! Now, box squats are fantastic because we can come back here and we have the additional support and stability from the box, so that when we go down, we can really focus on pushing our hips back, driving our knees out and keeping them nice and vertical, just lightly tapping on the box and then coming all the way up and through. So you want to kind of think of this exercise almost as starting like a little bit of a good morning by shifting back, keeping those knees up, tap, and then drive forcefully through with the glutes. Now, you can also do these by allowing your knees to kind of just come forward like you normally would. But in this instance, we're going to be trying to load those hips up and keep those knees safe. So do them like this. Next up, Bulgarian, split squat. Now, you might be thinking, wait a minute, a single leg knee dominant exercise, isn't that gonna really hurt my knees? Well, it really depends on how you do them, and these were actually one of the exercises which I could perform pretty early on when I was rehabbing my knee and working towards doing harder exercises. So, what we wanna avoid is keeping our foot really close and then having a shallow stance away from the bench, and as mentioned, driving that knee forward and down like this. So instead, what we wanna do is take a nice big step away from the bench or box, lean slightly forward from the hip, and then send our hips back and down like so, aiming for that nice vertical shin like this. Now, also, if you are gonna be holding a weight, then instead of holding it really close to you and keeping it further away from the knee, I want you to lean forward and hold it in line with the knee, and that way it's actually going to be putting more tension on the hips and glutes and less tension on the knee. And lastly, remember, it is a single leg lift, so you might have to stabilize through that hip and knee as well. So, brace onto something nearby to add that extra stability, for extra good measure. Next up, we got the leg press. Now, the leg press is a fantastic machine because we can lift a lot of heavy weight with this and go for low reps. We can lift lighter weight and go for high reps, but also we have this nice big wide platform and a very stable surface for us to be able to play around with different foot positionings to be able to target particular areas which are going to be able to be better suited towards our own individual mobility and whatever we're trying to target or avoid. Now, normally with a leg press, people will probably put their foot around about midway down, driving all the way down and up, and that's fantastic. But if we are trying to avoid hurting those knees, you can just scooch those feet up a little bit higher, again, aiming for those vertical shins, and again, we are gonna be getting a little bit more glutes with this variation as well. Now, if you can handle it, then you can also even try doing a single leg press, and personally, these are one of my favorite exercises for really targeting and feeling those lower glutes, and they burn, baby, disco inferno. Well, if you don't like the leg press, maybe you can hack with hack squats. Now, typically, these are a very knee-dominant exercise, which really works those quads because we can get down really, really low with all of this weight behind us, and typically, it is going to be a very knee-dominant exercise. But here's 3 ways that you can make them a little bit more friendly for those knees and just fun variations to try. The first is going to be our high stance leg press, where we just move those feet up a little bit higher to minimize the knee bend. And again, we are going to be getting a little bit more glutes with this as well, and it should feel a little bit more friendly for your knees. The second is one of my personal favorites, and we're going to be doing a B stance hack squat. Now, you can do these with either your feet a little bit higher if we're going to be keeping those knees nice and friendly and want more glutes, or you can put the knees a little bit lower, target a bit more quads as well. Now with these, we're going to be keeping almost all of our weight in the working leg that's on the platform, and just having that other leg tippy tapping on the ground for a little bit of additional stability to help us get through our reps. Now lastly, we have a reverse hack squat. Now with a reverse hack squat, we're going to be standing up, turning around and putting our head backwards, leaning into the machine, putting our shoulders right on the edge, keeping our hips up nice and high. And this exercise is fantastic because it loads the hip joint a lot more. And as you can see, those knees are staying relatively straight and up and down as well. So less tension on the knees, more tension on the hips, and more gains for your glutes. Last but not least, kill your legs and your lungs with a sled push. Now these are gonna get a crazy burn through your glutes, your quads, but also be fantastic for your conditioning. And again, back to where we started with our rehab exercise, you can also do these within your workout with a sled push and then drag to get a little bit of extra love for those quads and keep those knees feeling all G's. Nice! Well, there you bloody fucking have it. A whole variety of exercises that you can explore to see if you can train pain-free with your knees. The video is wrapped up, and as you can see, I am a hot, sweating motherfucking mess. So I hope that you enjoyed the video, and if you did enjoy the video, and if you're thankful for me getting all hot and sweaty on a Friday night filming for all y'all with all these goddamn tips and tricks to help your knees feel healthy and to help you build your booty, then I'm gonna need you to do me a little favor and like, comment, subscribe, turn on that notification bell, and ladies and gentlemen, you know what they say. YouTube! YouTube!